Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you're ready to build some incredibly advanced AI workflows, but you're absolutely terrified of burning through your entire API budget in a single afternoon, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking a masterclass on not just building with AI, but truly mastering the invisible constraints that trip up even the most seasoned developers out there.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for this masterclass. We'll start off with the ultimate AI automations, move right into supercharging Claude Code, address the threat of context rot, break down some essential token saving hacks, and finally, we're going to expose the 1 million token trap.
All right, Section 1. The ultimate AI automations, achieving dream outcomes. Picture this. You've got a completely automated workflow running in NN. You literally just hang up from a discovery call, right? A Firefly's webhook instantly triggers, grabs the raw meeting transcript, and logs it straight into a Google Sheet. Next, it pings you in Slack for human approval, just asking, hey, would you like to generate a proposal? If you click yes, an AI proposal agent takes that raw transcript, formats it beautifully, and fires off an API call to Gamma, which instantly generates a stunning, fully formatted, client-ready slide deck. The leverage we have here is just staggering. You're turning hours of tedious manual admin work into one single click.
But hey, it goes way beyond just text. Voice agents are incredibly accessible now. Let's look at this concrete example from our source material, a 500-employee business called Sandbox Construction. Instead of paying human staff to field these endless repetitive discovery calls, they have an AI voice agent, which was built in minutes using Claude Code, 11 Labs, and Cal.com, handling the intake. It actually asks the prospect about their business size, their specific pain points, and then automatically checks the calendar to book a diagnostic call in an open slot. It's like having a receptionist that literally never sleeps.
The overarching theme of these automations is perfectly captured in this quote from the source. It has never been so easy to build whatever you want, with just your natural language. We are firmly in an era where code beats clicks. Instead of getting lost in a dozen complicated software dashboards, you can configure these powerful, cost-saving systems just by telling an AI what you want to build.
Moving on to Section 2, Supercharging Claude Code, Equipping AI Agents.
For a while, the standard way to connect Claude to outside tools was through these bloated MCP, or Model Context Protocol servers. But as our source points out, every single connected MCP server loads all of its tool definitions into your context on every single message. That is some incredibly heavy invisible token overhead, and it'll burn a hole straight through your API budget. The sleeker new approach, that's using the open-source Google Workspace CLI. Instead of dragging around heavy tool definitions, the agent uses super lightweight terminal bash commands to interact with your digital environment. And the capabilities of this Google Workspace CLI? They completely upgrade Claude Code. It comes packed with over 100 built-in multi-step workflow recipes, stuff like finding free time and scheduling a meeting entirely on its own. It provides JSON-first structured responses, which, by the way, AI agents absolutely love, and it allows for direct formatted Google Doc creation right from the terminal. But the absolute best part, it does all of this with practically zero context bloat, keeping your agent lightning fast and your costs super low.
Actually, quick fun aside, developer tools do not have to be boring. In a recent April Fool's update, Anthropic added this awesome /buddy feature to Claude Code. It literally hatches a little Tamagotchi-style pet right there in your terminal. You might get an epic ghost, or, as mentioned in the source material, you might get Vortex, the chaotic turtle, whose stats suggest zero patience and absolute chaos. And honestly, the best part is that it's a completely zero-token feature, meaning it's just for fun and doesn't eat into your wallet at all.
But speaking of API costs, we really need to shift gears and confront the invisible threat of our journey. Section 3. The threat of context rot. The invisible monster.
So the crucial point here is understanding context rot. This is what happens when a model's performance severely degrades because its attention gets spread across a massive, bloated context window. You can almost think of it like AI dementia. As the chat session grows, the model starts to get distracted, it forgets important details, it contradicts itself, and it starts producing objectively worse outputs that you still have to pay for. Now, why does this happen so fast? Just look at how the cumulative tokens compound exponentially here, not linearly. Every single time you hit send, Claude has to reread the entire conversation from the very beginning. So message 1, that might cost you 500 tokens. But by message 30, it has to reread all 29 previous messages, costing you 15,500 tokens just for that single turn. Before you know it, your cumulative cost is nearing 250,000 tokens, basically draining your wallet for zero added value.
Which leads us to this truly staggering statistic. In long developer sessions, one analysis found that 98.5% of all tokens used were spent just rereading old chat history. I mean, wow, that is almost entirely wasted budget, generating absolutely zero new value for your project.
And if you're thinking, okay, this is just a theoretical problem, listen to this real horror story from our source material. A user's token bill skyrocketed from $345 a month to a mind-blowing $42,000 a month. And the real kicker? There was absolutely no improvement in the quality of the output. They were just paying this massive exponential tax for terrible context management. It's a financially dangerous mistake, and we want to make sure you avoid it entirely.
Okay, so how do we stop the bleeding? Section 4, Essential Token Saving Hacks, Stopping the Bleeding.
First things first, we've got to stop relying on the system to save us. Auto-compaction usually kicks in around 95% of your context window, which is way too late. It's kind of like frantically stuffing your bag 5 minutes before a flight. You're definitely going to lose vital items. Instead, you want to adopt the rule of 60%. Manually clear and summarize your context when you hit about 60% of your window. Think of it like carefully packing the night before. You retain all the vital context and keep the AI's intelligence operating at its peak.
All right, here are some rapid-fire hacks to instantly reduce your burn rate. Use the /re command to rewind mistakes entirely instead of arguing with the AI. Seriously, arguing just pollutes your context with bad code. Keep your system prompts, like your claude.md file, lean and under 200 lines. Always start complex tasks in plan mode so you don't waste precious time and tokens running down the wrong path. Batch your prompts. 3 separate instructions cost 3 times more than 1 combined message. And lastly, beware the 5-minute cache timeout. If you step away for a coffee, the model has to reprocess everything from scratch when you get back.
Now, here is a specific formatting hack that is an absolute game changer for your budget. Stop uploading raw PDFs, Word docs, or HTML files. Convert them to Markdown first. All that layout and metadata noise in a PDF, it just wastes tokens. Converting a PDF to Markdown reduces your token usage by about 70%. That literally means you can fit 3 times more actual useful content into the exact same context window.
Another brilliant technique here is session chaining. So instead of trying to do a massive project in one bloated window, break it up like an assembly line. Spin up a subagent for discovery to read the codebase. Take its summary, close that out, and open a fresh session for planning. Then take that plan and open a third fresh session for execution. By keeping the tasks specialized and the windows clean, you completely sidestep context rot and get way more out of your API budget. Which brings us to our final and honestly perhaps the most important mindset shift today. Section 5, the 1 million token trap, insurance first goal. Now, what's really interesting about this is we naturally assume bigger is better, right? But the data on retrieval accuracy completely shatters the illusion of these massive context windows. At 256,000 tokens, the AI finds what it needs about 92% of the time. But if you bloat that window to 1 million tokens, accuracy drops to 78%. A bigger context window actually makes the AI significantly worse at finding the right answers, which just means you're going to waste even more time reprompting.
And honestly, it gets worse. A deep analysis of 18,000 thinking blocks showed that as these sessions drag on and windows get bloated, the AI's actual thinking depth drops by exactly 67%. It stops reasoning deeply and just starts getting lazy, often attempting to edit files without even bothering to read them first.
So you really have to change your entire philosophy when working with large language models. The 1 million token window is insurance. It's not a goal to be filled. Just because you have the space doesn't mean you should use it. Hitting your limits and getting poor results, that isn't a limits problem. That is a context hygiene problem. Which leaves us with this final, crucial question for you to audit your own tech stack. Are you actually building smarter AI workflows, or are you just burning through your tokens rereading chat history? Apply these hacks, clean up your context, and you are going to unlock an entirely new level of AI leverage while fiercely protecting your budget. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.